Okay, what's 9 months ago? Is there an event that would yield all these babies? Just asking. You guys tell me. All right, ladies. So tonight, so like I said, there's a pop-up that will consent to your recording. I'm going to, if you guys have questions, put them in the chat for now, and then at the end, I'll have time for you guys to ask questions. So tonight is about how to fill your date book, and I thought a lot about this today because there's just a lot with this topic. So the title of the training is How to Fill Your Date Book in 5 Simple Steps. Notice I said simple, not easy, okay? Because I think things in Mary Kay are genuinely simple. That doesn't mean they're always easy. And it's not that they're actually hard to do. It's just the emotions behind it. Like we feel like we're bugging people, or we feel like people aren't going to want what we're offering. So here are 3 things that I know to be true when it comes to this topic. So number 1 is, and you've heard me say this a lot recently, but volume makes an unpredictable business predictable. So what that means is if you're talking to maybe 4 people and none of them want to book, and then you get emotional because you're like, nobody's booking with me, oh my gosh. And I get it, I've been there, okay? I knew 2 people in Minnesota, in the entire state that I lived in when I started Mary Kay, and there was no Zoom. So it kind of like freaked me out, and I went through a period like that. But when you're contacting a larger number of people, it just makes things more predictable because you always have bookings coming in. So that would be my first thing. So when people text or call me and say, I've asked everyone I know, the first question I'm going to ask you is, who's everyone? Because typically when I ask that question, people are like, well, it was just my really good friends, right? You didn't branch out. And I get it. It's scary because we don't know what those people are going to say, but there's a lot of people who are excited about what we have that might surprise you. So just make the list, ask. They can, it's ask and you shall receive, not like hint around and you'll receive, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing, and this is like my own rule, is that I never rely on future business to build my business. So I never rely on future business to build my business. So for example, let's say you have a goal to hold 4 parties in a month, or 3, or whatever your income goal is. And if you need help figuring out what that might be, I would love to help you with that, okay? We can kind of work backwards from like an income goal and figure out how many parties you would need to hold. So, so instead of saying, okay, so let's say I want to hold 4, I'm probably going to book 6 or 7, right? Because you're going to have cancellations, you're going to have thunderstorms, you're going to have people getting COVID, you're going to have, you know how it is. People just, stuff happens, right? The dog gets sick, something happens. So instead of saying, a lot of times what people do is they'll get 3 parties up, they'll book 3 and they'll go, okay, I've got 3. I'm going to get the other 4 that I need because one of my first parties is next week, right? So one of the 3 I booked is next week. So when I hold that party next week, I'm probably going to get referrals and I'll book from that. So people stop. Okay, that's not how I operate. I get the 7 I need. And then the business that I get from the business or from the parties is just icing on the cake and it's extra. Okay, and then it just maintains itself. And so if you feel like you're never really moving forward, like you're always spinning your wheels, like no matter what you do, you're always getting leads and booking, but nothing is manifesting, it's probably because you're doing this. Because a lot of people do it. I mean, even consultants who've been in my unit 8, 9 years do this sometimes. Like they get up 4 or 5 and they think I want to get to 10, but oh, I got some parties next week. So I know that that's going to get me what I need. But if you can, like today, I'm going to give you this booking tool and booking idea and hostess program that I think people are going to get really excited. I would be excited about this. That's going to help you get those bookings up. So do yourself a favor and get those bookings. The third thing I know to be true is the numbers. Okay, so this is one thing that I think when people are new, that is the most kind of like mind-blowing thing because, we all reach out to people once and then if we don't hear anything, we sort of get like, oh my gosh, they're not into it. But 2% of sales. So when I say sales, that could mean bookings or that could mean recruits or that could mean selling, right? So this is just statistics. 2% of bookings happen on the first contact. 2%, 2. That's not very high. 3% happen on the second time you contact someone. 4% happen the third contact. 10% on the 4th, and 81% of bookings and sales happen on the 5th contact or after. Now, you might think, oh my gosh, that's so many, but just know, like, if you're calling someone and then you text them, that counts as 2 contacts. Like if you call them, which some people like to call, some just like texting, that's fine. I don't really care how you do it. But like, let's say you leave a voicemail and then you text right away and say, hey, I left you a voicemail, let me know what you think. That's 2. So 81% of bookings happen on the 5th contact or after, but I would say 81% of consultants stop contacting people after 2 times because they think, oh my gosh, I'm bugging people. And we're going to talk about this because I get it. I do get it. Okay, so we're going to talk about this, I promise. So, so here are my 5 simple steps to filling your date book. Okay, so those are kind of like my 3 little manifestos, and then this is like the tips. So step 1, the first thing you need to do is get your leads together. So who are you going to call? Okay, so you're going to work on the who. I will post, I have a list of 99 ideas of who to book, right? If you're just like legitimately stumped on like, okay, who haven't I talked to? But other ideas are past leads that you never reached. Maybe you were really working your business 6-7 months ago, but then you took some time off. And so go back on those past leads. Referrals that you have from parties, it's a good one. Hostesses that hosted 6+ months ago. I want to tell you, I met a director friend of mine, and she built a very successful business doing this specific thing. I love the one direct sales party I love is Cabby. Okay, they sell clothes if you're not familiar with Cabby. And one of the things that I think Cabby does really well is they don't really lead generate, right? They book the same hostesses every season. So like my friend Ashley and my friend Stacy, like clockwork, every summer, spring and fall, they do a Cabby show because Cabby comes out with new clothes. And so they host a show 3 times a year, the same person 3 times a year. I feel like this is an opportunity in our business that we have not taken advantage of. Like, what if you had hostesses? And so the director that I learned from who does this, right? So she has all the people at the party and she'll say, okay, Amber's our hostess tonight. We're so excited. I have new products coming out in August. Which one of you wants to host the August season opener? Right? And so that same group of friends, but maybe a different girl host, so that each time a different one is getting the hostess credit. They kind of split it, but it's the same people, but they're always buying a lot. Now, as you recruit people, you're going to have to like, diversify, but the more that they get to know you, the more that they're going to refer their friends, other friends to you, the more that, they're more likely to join your team. And so that is not a bad idea. So hostesses that have hosted, it's been 6+ months. What if you book them for a show, right? For a beauty session this summer, because people's skincare needs change in the summer. And you guys, we are like, I tell you what, in 10 days, literally Target's going to have back to school everything. All the summer clothes will be on clearance. I know it's not even July yet. All the summer clothes will be on clearance and all the back to school stuff is going to be out. So people start thinking about new things when it comes to that. So that is step 1, is get your leads together. If you're a new consultant, make a list, like a legitimate list of everyone you know, not just your besties. Like, who did you go to church with back in the day? Who'd you go to high school with? Who went to college with you? And don't judge whether you think they would want to buy Mary Kay or host a party. Just write them in a notebook. Like, do this brainstorm list. You're going to have a chicken list. Everybody has a chicken list. Like, people you would love, love, love to have at your kickoff party or do a party with, but you're just like chicken, right? Like, they scare you for whatever reason. We all have them. Trust me. I will say this though, when you get the courage to contact your business, your chicken list, my best customers, like my top 7 or 8 customers in my customer base that order like over $1,500 a year from me came from my chicken list. Okay, so who suddenly just got a little more courageous? Anybody? Okay, so that's step 1 is what if you haven't talked to most of those in over 20 years? That's a great question, Mary. I'm going to talk about that next, actually. So good, yay. Thank you for asking that, Mary. Step 2 is you need to plan your booking time. Like, when are you going to reach out to people and how will you reach them? And some people, one thing we used to teach, which I think is kind of a really good idea, is just kind of always having your booking supplies, like your list that you're working, your tracking sheet, your date book, and some highlighters and stuff in a little bag. And so like, okay, for example, I get to sit at Key Cadillac tomorrow getting an oil change. They always, with an appointment, guaranteed an hour and a half, I have to sit there with an appointment. It's crazy. Okay, but whatever. So I'm going to take stuff with me, and I always have it with me. I have it in my car with me because we have 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I'm waiting for the kids in the bus line here. I'm waiting for this and that here. That's time that we can do things without having to spend our free time at night doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, a mobile office. Thank you, Kendra. That's perfect. So how will you reach them? Are you the kind of girl who likes to call and have conversations with people? Like you just love connecting with people. You love chatting with them on the phone. I still enjoy that. Okay, so just to like dinosaur myself, back when I started Mary Kay, I walked uphill both ways. Just kidding. We only had calling. There was no texting. People, not everyone had, like we had a text plan with 500 texts and not everyone texted. So it was actually really rude to text people because if they didn't have texting on their phone plan, they would have to pay for your text. So it would, I mean, Amanda, you're laughing, but you were that age too. And we didn't have Facebook Messenger. We didn't have all these things that we have now. It literally was calling people. And it was, you know, there were days when I was feeling extra introverted. I did not feel like talking to people, but I didn't have a choice. So I feel like we have it so good now. Like, you know, you can be in a really noisy place with your kids and dogs barking all over the place. You got 15 minutes, you can shoot some like follow-up texts really fast. Like I feel like Mary Kay is so easy now, which is great. You can do Facebook Messenger. Just know that if you're not friends with them, it's going to take more messages than like a text or a phone call would. And then one of the tools that we use is called the 21-day booking tool. And this is a way to track your bookings. So you start out with, if you've never listened to the video, it's actually really, really good. So I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you where to access this video. It's really fast. I actually, hold on, I actually watched it again today. I was like, oh, this is really good. Here we go. I got this. Yeah, even Katie says so worth it. Okay, so here we go. So here's our team website, right? So if you click on consultant education, that's kind of where all the consultancy things are. And there's stuff for new consultants, but most of it's under this education center. And then if you just click the box that says booking, okay? So we have this great booking guide, which you just click here and it's a PDF. And this thing has all the tips that I'm going to give you. Like this is a great booking tracking sheet. And I'm going to talk about this in point number 3, but you need to track who you're talking to because it will get lost in text land. Okay, especially if you're texting. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. This gives you tips on how to create a picture with your dates. Yeah, so there's all kinds of, if you want to make a digital business card, new consultants, if you complete New Consultant Bootcamp, which Kira did, woohoo, Kira, you get a free digital business card from me and just tons of tips. It has all of our scripts you can use if you need suggested words. There's a lot of things, but also on here is the 21-day booking tool video. So you can just watch it right here. You can go to YouTube, whatever, but it's all right here. But it's a way to, it's literally texting like 10 people a day, which, I mean, how long do you think it takes with focused effort to send 10 texts? I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, like a minute a text if you're copying and pasting. So that makes it really easy to do, and it gives you the way to track it, okay? So that's step number 3, okay? So you've made your list, you plan the time that you're gonna do it and how you're gonna do it. Then step 3 is just do it, girl, like reach out to people, right? And okay, so I have to tell you this, when I was a new consultant and I would call, because again, I had to call people, right? This is what I would do. I would dial their number and I would be like, please don't answer, please don't answer, please don't answer. Even though I wanted the booking, I was like so scared of like, what the heck do I do when I answer the phone, right? So we're doing it mostly over text, so things are a lot easier, but just do it. You just got to do it, right? So just get that 20 seconds of courage, just send the text. Use the booking tracking sheet. I talked about that. There are texting programs like Project Broadcast, which helps you like keep track of texting. So once you start working a lot of referrals and stuff, that's a really smart thing. And I have info on our website about what that is right under the booking part I just showed you. And the biggest reason you have to track it is because you're going to have 3 groups of people when you're booking. You're going to have people working on it. That's what I call them, meaning they actually responded to you. They said, that sounds interesting. Need to check with my friends, or let me get back to you on that. Or I need to figure out a time, or I need to chat with my husband about when he's home and not home, right? So basically they're in process. Okay, so that's group number 1. Group number 2 is the ghosters. You're like, you didn't get a winky face or nothing. You got nothing. You're like, are you there? Did the text send? Okay, you're gonna have a lot of those, right? So the ghosters. And then the third group, actually there's 4 groups. The third group is they respond back and say, I'm not interested. Which is amazing, right? I like getting a no, because then I'm like, okay, I can take her off my tracking sheet. I think the ghosters are harder because you don't know like what they're thinking. And then the 4th thing is the ones who book, okay? And you're getting dates and you have the date, like they're booking. And so you need a tracking sheet or putting people in groups in like a texting thing, because you want to keep track of, like a hawk, the in-process people, like the working on it types, and also the ghosters. Like those 2 you want to track, because I think a lot of times we aren't booking more because we lose track of the people that said, I'll check with friends, but then, 50 texts down, because, you're texting your mom and your sister and this and that person, you forget about it and you never follow up on it. Okay. So, how many times should you connect on the working on it people? Yeah, so sometimes we get people who are working on it and stop responding. I'm going to give you a tip for that actually right now. So, so step 4 of booking. Okay, so this is hilarious, you guys. The title of my training is How to Fill Your Date Book in 5 Simple Steps, and it's only 4 steps. So there you go. You got a discount today. It's awesome. So step 4 is follow up with all the groups. Okay, so this is going to lead into Anna's question here. The working on it's the in-process people and the ghosters. First point I need to make. Okay, are you bugging people? All right. So the only time, okay, I'm just going to tell you a yes or a no. The only way you're bugging people legitimately is if they say, no, I am not interested, and you keep texting them. That is bugging people, and girl, you deserve it. Right? They have said no. We do this thing in the Midwest where, because we didn't get a reply, we think no. That is not a no, because and this is why 81% of people, book or whatever in the 5th contact, is because a lot of times when you keep reaching out to people, you're going to get 2 kinds of people. You're going to get people who are mad that you're reaching out to them. And you're going to get people who are like grateful, who are like, oh my gosh, every time I saw your text, I was at work and I never responded. And now I'm not at work. So I'm like excited about this. And you are not going to know the difference between not interested and just busy unless they say so. And that is on them, friends. That is not on you. Like if people, we need to really, and I'm really good about this with my kids. I tell my kids, if they are not interested in something, they need to tell the person that, and not just, we need to get past this, oh, ghosting means not interested, because that's not true, right? Because I don't know the difference. I'm not a mind reader. And here's an analogy for you. We are business owners, okay? I want you to really write this down and think about it. It's our job to follow up with them. It isn't their job to follow up with us. And here's an example. It's just the same as when your dentist sends you a gentle reminder, Amber, you're due for your cleaning, right? Or Mary, you're due for highlights at your beauty salon, right? They're reaching out to us because they want to book us, because it's their business. It is their job to follow with me. It's not always my job to reach out to my dentist, although I do sometimes because I'm nice like that. And I think it shows people that you're a serious business person because you do that follow-up. So one of the tips that, so Anna had asked, how many times should you connect with people who are working on booking? Like they say, I have to check with friends, you don't hear anything. So one tip, this is a really good tip. And maybe you've heard me say this before and forgot about it, but make sure you do this. When I'm booking with someone and they say, I need to check with friends. I instantly text back and I say, totally get it. We all have friends that are like herding cats to like, get together. If you can pick a date by, okay, so let's say I was booking today, right? If you can pick a date by Saturday, I'll throw an extra $5 on your gift card, or I'll throw an extra sample in your sample pack, or I'll put you in a cash drawing that we're doing as a team, or whatever, right? Like some sort of incentive, because then what it does is, because she'll like text you back like, okay, I could totally do that or whatever. Now it's Saturday and you haven't heard a date from her yet. I can text her on Saturday. It gives me permission because I said, hey, by Saturday. And I can text her and say, hey, Anna, did you figure out a date? I want to give you that extra gift card or that extra sample in your sample pack and just wanted to check in. If you need more time, it's not a big deal, right? Like I'm not being pushy about it. I'm just throwing out an incentive. And I have gotten such a better response rate doing that than just like leaving it out in outer space and then having to follow up later. So, but I would say, I mean, again, I kind of keep reaching out until I get a response. Because again, I don't know if like, I don't know, she went out of the country for 2 weeks or like what the deal is. And it's not that you're reaching out like 16 times a day. The 21-day booking tool, which is why you need to watch the video really, and the tracking sheet, it gives you an idea of how much time to leave in between so that you have it down to an exact science if you're someone who needs the exact science. But it's usually like every 3 or 4 days that I reach out, just because, sometimes it takes some people a little longer. So I give them time, but yet not so much time that they even forget about the whole thing in general. So that's a good one. The other thing that I do is at the beginning of each month, I recheck in with the bookings I do have so that if anyone falls off, you can refill that time slot. Instead of like finding out 2 days before the party that they can't hold it, I know at the beginning of the month so that I have time to fill that time slot. So what I wanted to share with you ladies, so those are my like best, you guys, and I have a lot of bookings because I book a little bit every single day. And when you do that, I mean, you don't have to do it every day, but when you consistently are kind of like reaching out to people, you consistently have people responding to you. And it's a mental win for you, because if you only do it once a week and you get nothing, you instantly feel defeated. But when you always have people kind of pinging you here and there, you're like, okay, I got this. Like, there's movement, there's things happening, people are talking to me. And then you build that consistency over time. So it doesn't have to be hours a day. It could just be 20 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, but you're building that consistency. And I always have bookings because I'm always booking a little bit all the time, whether I need it or not. So yeah, so those are kind of my tips. Now I want to share a booking idea that I had. So, and there's a little bit that's going to help you with your stretch goals too, in 2 different ways. Obviously, it's going to help you with your stretch goal because you're going to sell, right, when you book. But I thought, why not go back to past hostesses, friends, family, really anybody you want. This is not it. Hold on, there's Amanda. Hey, girl. And I made this up. So it's called Bulge a Bag. Okay. And so this is a little hostess thing. And here's the point, you guys. Okay. It's really important. For in-person or virtual beauty sessions, book June 15th through July 25th. We're trying to book big the end of this month and book big the beginning of July so that we can have an amazing start to a new year. You can be on target for quarter sales and earn a diamond ring from Mary Kay. You can be making money in July, right? It starts now and booking in June. You will still have the capacity. I just talked to a lady today. It was the first time I reached out to her, and she booked for Sunday. So it does not have to take weeks and weeks for someone to book. So Bulge a Bag, they get, when they hold a beauty session with you, right? And you can use this for second beauty sessions or first ones, it doesn't matter. They have 3 women join. So there's 2 requirements. They have to have 3 women join and $300 in sales. Now here's the deal. I was talking to my friend Grace Lemke about this, who sells a ton. She sold $14,000 at her sale. I was like, dang, that's hashtag goals right there. Just her, 14,000. So she sells a lot. And her and I were talking about the $300 thing. And here's the deal. So this includes outside orders. So if you talk to your host person and say, look, it's not hard to have 300 in sales. Why don't you ask around at work or ask around at church or ask around at whatever X, Y, and Z thing she's involved in and see if they need anything. Okay, then, so she could take those orders plus the orders from the party. And then if she's still short, you could be like, oh my gosh, Deb, you're at $275 in sales. Is there anybody else that needs something? I'll keep your party open for a few more days so that you can collect outside orders to get up to that 300, because I want you to get that bag and I want you to fill it with all the things you want half price. And the thing I love about this is that it doesn't cost you a lot to, like, the host is going to love it because she can fill the bag with anything she wants at half price. Okay, Deb, you were recently a customer. Would that excite you? Yes, she's like shaking her head. Yes. Okay, so anything that she wants to fit in the bag, she gets half price. It costs you nothing, right? You're making your cost back. She's happy. You have 300 or more in sales. You're not just doing this without the sales requirement. You have 300 in sales. And if this doesn't excite you, pick something that does and really run with it and get those bookings up. Okay, so this is my little booking idea. But then, okay, so here we go. You guys ready for this? So earlier I talked about stretch goals. And I've been hearing some rumblings that some people are like, oh, my stretch goal is so big. Okay, I believe big in you, and that's why I pick big. Plus, we have big goals, right? I would not pick a stretch goal that I didn't think you were actually capable of hitting just to be cruel. Like, that's not how I operate, right? But I decided to offer something a little bit fun. Okay, so you can actually earn, I'm calling it stretch goal boost. So you have ways that you can knock off wholesale off of your stretch goal. So let's say your stretch goal is 1,000, right? Option one, you add a new team member this month and she comes in qualified, you get to knock off 600 wholesale. So now you're down to 400 wholesale for your stretch goal. Okay, the agreement and the order have to be in this month. Option two, okay, you get 10 parties, not one-on-one appointments, parties with hostesses on your date book to be held between now and July 25th. You have to submit the hostess name, the date, and the phone to count. You're going to knock up another 600 points. And you guys, here's the deal. See how under the team member thing, it's unlimited. So if you're Kendra and your stretch goal is 2,500, because Kendra actually picked that for herself, by the way. But actually she wanted 3,000 and I knocked her down to 2,500 because I believe big in Kendra. I know she can do it. She's going on target for her car this month. We're excited about that. But she gets a couple qualified team members. She's gonna knock it down 1,200. Then she can get her 10 parties up, which she's gonna need to earn her car anyway. So yeah, you do a double stretch goal. Like I said earlier, you get both prizes. June is the great giveaway month. The other promotion that I'm running, okay? And you guys are gonna fall off your chairs when you see this, but I want you to really think about it because I think some of you are capable of this if you got busy tonight and started booking, okay? And we need this because we have huge goals, but it's like they're right there. They're within reach, but yet it's like this every June, right? It's the great countdown, and Kendra is like texting me like, what do we need to do? And I always love that about her because it gets me like, okay, I'll tell you in a second. So the second thing I'm doing is I call it star again. Okay, so we just finished a quarter. So if you complete your quarter one star between June 16th and 30th, so it's 1,800 wholesale. So you sell enough to order 1,800 wholesale. You're gonna get a gorgeous Kate Spade bag. Oh shoot, I have it. I'll grab it here in a second. So Kate Spade bag. I bought a few of them because I was thinking big. And you get a $100 gift card to TJ Maxx or DSW for doing it to update your wardrobe. So isn't this adorable? Look at you got to see the flap. Oh, it's so cute. Oh my gosh. And it's a crossbody and it's like this beautiful lavender, pink, and purple. So it could be fall, it could be summer. It's amazing. So that is star again. So I don't know about you guys, but I hope some of you are excited to fill your date books to help you